Hi everyone, this is Johnnyonoes, and I'm playing Osiris, New Dawn, and in this Let's Learn episode, I'm going to do a little Should You Buy This video today. I've been getting a lot of questions about it in my stream, so I thought I'd just make a quick little video to show you exactly what's in the game, what you can do, what you can build, and this is currently version 0.938, and it is October 1st, 2016, so let's go ahead and get into all the content. According to Steam, I've been playing this game for 32 hours, and I'm going to put my suggestion into two different ways. The first way is going to be if you're looking for a game like Rust, Reign of Kings, Hurt World, Ark, and you're hoping to get a fully fledged game right off the bat, this game is not going to give you that. I would say you can get about 15 to 20 hours of enjoyment with just the single player alone. My little experience I've had in the multiplayer has been pretty poor so far. In single player, I get about 60 frames per second constantly throughout the game. As soon as I jumped into multiplayer and looked at a creature, my frames per second dropped down to about 2 or 3. So it was pretty slideshowy for multiplayer, but it seems that the development team's main focus right now is to optimize multiplayer, so I would imagine that gets fixed over the next couple months. The second way I'm going to put this is this game is just super ambitious. I am really looking forward to seeing what this game is going to be in the next year or two, or hopefully like 6 months. But if you're willing to throw down $25 and to support a development team that can make some amazing aesthetics, the gameplay is super solid. It feels like a first-person shooter rather than a survival game that put first-person shooter in it. I would definitely suggest throwing down the $25. You're not going to get a fully fledged game right now, but you're going to get a pretty fun experience, at least in my opinion. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you what's in the game right now so that you can make your own determination of whether or not you wish to purchase it now. But for me, for the type of player I am, I'm going to be watching this game like a hawk. I love this game so far. It's brutal. The crafting is tough. The crafting is elaborate. The amount of buildings you have right now, it's a little bit on the minimal side, but like I said, when this game is fully fledged out, you're going to have people PvPing across planets, on planets, in space, just phenomenal. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what's in the game right now so that you can go ahead and determine yourself of whether or not you want to purchase it now. Alright, so taking a look at the character sheet, a lot of the stuff that you see here is pretty much placeholder. If I were to put in a point of strength, and if you take notice of how much I can carry right now, so 80 kilos, if I put some points into strength, it decrements the stat points here, but it doesn't really add anything to the strength. So all my experiments with, adding more health, adding more stamina, adding more movement speed, didn't seem to really do anything. So I think a lot of this stuff here is placeholder. Everything that you kill gives you 1 XP. You do get some XP for finishing some of the missions that it gives you in the beginning of the game, and it gives you some XP for doing some crafting. But as of now, there's really no really good way of leveling. You could kill all day and, sing "Live to Win Till You Die." You can do that all you want, but I don't know if really leveling does much for you. The blueprint button doesn't do much, so you're not gonna really see any additional blueprints here, I don't think, for this particular build. The proficiencies gain as you use items, which I really like, how it's kind of like a leveling system as well as a skill-based leveling system. So it's got kind of both in that, which I think is really neat, but I haven't really seen anything in terms of beneficial for getting additional melee or tools or light weapons and so on. So I think a lot of this is placeholder right now. You only get 4 of these slots for putting items in. It looks like you can upgrade your suit later to add another 4. But for right now, you got the 4. The backpack system and the crafting system is really nice because of the fact that you have your backpack and your structures and all the stuff that you can craft all in one window. It's really nice and streamlined, and it allows you to kind of deal with an inventory. Let me show you how that works. Let me jump into an inventory right now. There we go. Here's my little droid. So open the inventory. So if you had inventory in here and you wanted to build something, you could easily see what you have in your inventory while kind of collecting what you need for something to build. So if I had some steel in here, I could shift click that, and then the steel would increment over here, which I think is really, really nice and really streamlined. So I really like this window over here, allowing you to see both your backpack and all the stuff you can craft at the same time. It's a step up from what Ark has, where it has like two completely different windows for both inventory and crafting. You also have a little droid that you start the game off with. There's no way to repair it, I don't think. I haven't really tested that in this particular build, but in earlier builds you can't repair it and you can't revive it. The only way you can bring it back is by logging out and then back into the game. But he does a really great job of trying to follow you, as well as being able to either flank to the right or left. I kind of like this idea of having a droid right here as you walk around, and he can help shoot things. And the best thing about him is you have the ability of setting him to mine a particular resource. So if I go over to him and I have to hit C to have him come back, and then if I say patrol and mine, he can mine this resource and take the resources and put it into one of these depository storage units. So as you can see, I've been having him collect a bunch of aluminum here. In the other side, I have him collecting iron. So yeah, the droid is very useful. I just wish there was a way to build more or to repair it while it was still alive. Overall, the droid is very useful and has made my experience a lot easier by collecting aluminum and iron for me. In terms of building, you've got a couple of options. You have this. You start the game off with this inflatable dome, which acts as your kind of initial save point. So you can save your game, you get a little bit of health from it. You also have the ability of building some of these buildings over here, which are called the habitat, the barracks, the biodome, and the laboratory. Each one of these are functioning to an extent. The biodome is probably the one that is the least functional right now. The barracks allows you to build a couple things in there, and the laboratory allows you to build vehicles. But make sure to complete every single one of these panels. So there's 6 panels on each side to be able to fully use the laboratory. So let's jump inside and I'll show you all the different things that you can build for the interior of each of these buildings. I've got this cool airlock with depressurization. So I really, really like the modular way that these buildings allow you to build furniture inside. So if you've got a bare wall, you can kind of see it right here, you can build one of these pieces of furniture against the wall, which makes things look really nice and clean. There is the exception of this fabricator that gets added, attached to the middle of your room, which is kind of cool. So yeah, you can build all sorts of things. You got a kitchen, you got storage, you got different types of storage. You got a bed in here that you can save. You got a climate controller, which isn't functional right now. You have a chemistry table. You have an oxygenator, which apparently will increase your oxygen, but oxygen regens in this current version. So I would imagine that's more useful later on. You've got a water reclaimer, which allows you to just drink some water from it, which is really nice. And there is a climate control thing, but I don't think... Oh, yeah, that's right. There's the climate control. So the climate control will keep your habitat at a certain temperature, but really this isn't useful right now, because I would imagine this is more useful for either really, really hot planets or really, really cold planets. So that's the habitat. Moving on over to the biodome. The biodome isn't functional yet, but you can hit F to put some soil and some plants in here. But I would imagine later you're going to have to gather the soil and plants yourself to be able to grow food. But right now the biodome is not functional, so it's merely aesthetic right now. The barracks is kind of the same as the biodome. None of the pieces of furniture you can add in here actually do much. So I can't enter the shower and take off this suit, so I don't have to hear the breathing going on. There is a computer desk that you can put in here as well that allows you to, that doesn't do anything at all right now, but it does say in the description that you can get blueprints from here and be able to access some sort of World Wide Web type of thing, some network type of thing. I really like this couch and TV, and it looks like it's got an Atari here, which is really cool. The controllers aren't the same, but it does look like some sort of primitive Atari-like console here, which I think is really neat. There are a couple of other utilities that you can build currently that don't function. Well, flags don't function, but you can build a marker for kind of marking a nice place that you want to be able to either collect resources in, and you have this really cool flag that you can add. The other two utilities that you can build are there's a solar panel set up here. You can kind of access it through the back, but it doesn't really doesn't tend to do much right now. I would imagine you could be able to connect vehicles or buildings to this, but as of right now in 9.3.8, it doesn't do much, and you have to hit escape to get out of that panel. There's no back button, or you can't hit tab or anything like that. There's also a large satellite. It says large satellite, but a large satellite dish that you can use, or that you can build, but you can't really use at this point in time. So that's all the stuff that you can build. Let me go into kind of the tiers of crafting. So they have 3 tiers of crafting right now. The first tier is this forge that you can build. Let me run on over there. So the forge allows you to build kind of your basic components. You got steel, glass, you got a shovel to be able to get sand to make glass. Then you can make a barrel, as well as various types of ammo. Let's move on over to the habitat again. I'll show you the next 2 tiers. Alright, so the second tier of crafting is the chemistry table, which then unlocks the ability to create plastic. A lot of these chemicals aren't really used yet, but you can make... Everything else seems to be kind of placeholder right now. You can make water with oxygen, hydrogen, but you're better off just making the kind of the water reclaimer here, which is nice. So it allows you to make plastic, which is the main component for the next tier of crafting, which then leads you to the fabricator, which allows you to make wire, circuit boards, glass containers, the assault rifle, the dart gun, and a battery. I haven't really used the battery yet. I think the only time you use it is if you're building the dart gun or the assault rifle. I haven't really been able to use the dart gun just yet because I haven't been able to find the wild fungus. I don't know if it's implemented, or maybe I just can't find it. But that is all you can really build right now. To build everything, including the vehicles that I'm going to show next, took me a little over 3 hours playing efficiently. Now, I already know where everything is. I know how everything is built. So it took me about 3 hours. So if you're looking to play a game that's got a lot of building to it, as of right now, 9.38, and, you know, October 1st, 2016, you're not going to get a lot of building out of it. So let's go to the fun stuff. You currently can build 4 vehicles. There is a 5th that you can have selected in the laboratory, which is the mech, but unfortunately it is not implemented as of yet, and you can't find the resource to build it. But the 4 that you can build, the first one is the Gav, which is a off-road truck with some armament on it. Really fun to drive truck. It's one of my favorites. It actually is my favorite of the 4 right now. Super fun to drive. The Rover is more of a utility vehicle that doesn't have any of the utility implemented yet, I would imagine. It's really slow, but it can go over you know, treacherous land really easy with these gigantic wheels. You have the hover bike, which can zoom you across the map super quick. It's got a little bit of armament on it, and this thing really goes quick. So it goes about twice as fast as the Gav. The 4th vehicle that you can build is the spaceship, which is obviously the fastest of the 4. Which you jump in, and it's got a hover mode as well as a thruster mode, so you can move around while in hover mode, kind of use it like you would like a helicopter. And then as soon as you go into thruster mode, you can use it like you would a jet. Now the coolest thing about the spaceship is that you can go into space. Point straight up, hit spacebar, and out you are of the atmosphere into space. Now, there's currently not a lot to do in space right now. You can take a look at some of the asteroids, and there's also a space station that you can check out. Let's see if we can get a glimpse of that. And there it is. So yeah, that's all the vehicles. The vehicles are super fun to drive around, and man, it totally beats having to walk, for sure. But Osiris New Dawn, obviously, as you can see, I'm having a lot of fun with it. For a player like me that loves survival games, loves crafting games, this is definitely going to be the game in the next coming months, maybe a year. It is a very ambitious game, so we'll be looking to see if whether or not the development team can hit all the right notes and deliver all the promises that they have for the game. But for me, I would definitely give this a big thumbs up. to buy, especially at the low price of $25. But if you're looking for a fully fledged game, I would definitely suggest taking a look at Hurt World, Rust, Ark, all those other games that are out there right now before throwing down the $25 for this one. So, all right, so this is Johnnyonoes playing Osiris, New Dawn. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about the game or any of the other games I support, please go ahead and leave your questions in the comments below. Thanks so much, folks. See y'all in the next episode.